Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zack, and today I am driving a 1996 Dodge Dakota Sport. Up front is a 2.5 liter inline 4, and down below is a 5-speed manual transmission. Now, I am super excited to be driving this Dodge Dakota for two reasons. First of all, this is the final year of the first generation Dakota. Started in 1987, it lasted until 1996, where it got a refresh that looked like this. So this is the last year of the first gen, and the first gen is important for two reasons. First of all, this is really an AMC truck. It has a lot of AMC parts and was developed under AMC with the platform shared with the Cherokee. That 2.5 liter under the hood is from AMC, but also this was technically the first mid-size truck. We had mini trucks and we had full size, but this created a new segment, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on. The second reason I'm excited is because it's a little durable manual truck, and I'm always excited to drive them, even despite the weather today. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you'd like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months in advance, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month. But let's get back to that 2.5 liter under the hood. Well, as I mentioned, that is a holdover from the AMC era. Now, by the time 1996 rolled around and this truck was getting ready to move on to its second generation, AMC had been, well, dismantled, if we're honest. But this was still kind of carrying on that legacy. AMC engineers designed this engine. Although it didn't carry the badge, it carried the honor. Now, interestingly enough, there were 3 different engines offered in this era of truck, one of each size. So we had this 4-cylinder, we also had a Magnum V6 and the Magnum V8. And when the Magnum V8 was offered, it was one of the most powerful trucks of its era and size. So very cool to see that, but we are not working with crazy horsepower. We are working with a whopping 99 horsepower, just one pony short of a triple digit. So power isn't really the name of the game here, no matter what the sport title might suggest. Like I said, paired to it is a 5-speed manual transmission. It's actually quite a lovely transmission. It feels nice. It does feel trucky. I mean, it's going to, but it has a decent throw into gear, relatively friendly enough for a first-time user, so I like it. Last but not least, this truck is rear-wheel drive. However, they did sell a 4-wheel drive version of the Dakota. So how does it feel to drive the Dodge Dakota Sport? Well, like I said, you're not dealing with a whole lot of horsepower under the hood, but the clutch engagement and shifter feel is friendly. The 4-cylinder isn't allergic to revving, but it's also not the happiest to do it. Ride quality is bad. It's a pickup truck. It's kind of supposed to be, but visibility is good. You know, this was from an era where it had really thin A-pillars, so it's pretty easy to see out of even on a bad weather day like today, so all is well in the world. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have, well, 5 gauges, but it appears to be 6. Off to the left, we do have the fuel and the speedometer, and off to the right, we have the battery voltage, oil pressure, and coolant temperature, but then we have what looks like a gauge. This is just a seatbelt warning. I guess they had to fill space somehow. On the steering wheel, we do have horn buttons, as well as an airbag, but that's it. And off to the left, climate control vent, a little shelf, and our headlight switch. On the door, manual mirrors, latch to get in and out, manual windows. Moving into the center, 2 climate vents, climate control, cigarette lighter, aftermarket head unit, and a little openable storage cubby. And off to the far right, we don't have a passenger airbag, so we do have a decent amount of space, and we have cup holders. So we will do a big friggin' bottle test here in the 96 Dakota, and although it fails, it's just a nice feature in this era to have cup holders at all. Then we have the shifter, tall and mighty here, and I think it's relatively presentable. It doesn't look overly cheap, although I wouldn't say it looks expensive either, but it does the job, and that's all you needed it to do. The bench seat is very nice, very cushy, very plush, and it has this really cool 90s design in it, where it is like a gray, but if you look really closely, there's this multicolored stitching that runs throughout. It's this nice little touch that you also saw in the full-size Ram of the era, so I really, really like that touch. Now, Now, we don't have any back seats, but we do have the bed, so let's hop out there and go do a bed review. All right, we're on the back of the 96 Dakota, and nothing really too crazy. We do get a handle here, and as you can see, the third brake light is actually on the tailgate. I don't know if I've ever seen that. So the third brake light was required in 1986. However, for light trucks, of which this is, and this was kind of one of the industry-defining light trucks, they didn't need it until, I believe, 1994. So they just kind of had to add it on there for the last 2 years just to kind of say that they had it, and then they integrated it nice and smooth for the next generation. So very interesting to see that. But we just have what appears to be a regular door handle. No frills here, just 2 cables on either side. We do have a nice bed liner, a rugged liner, it says on it. But other than that, no crazy interesting tie downs, no LED lights, no coffee makers, no speakers, just a clean, simple bed for the Dakota. Right back up like that. Very cool. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and I'm kind of sweet on this generation of Dakota. When I was very, very young, my grandparents had a blue one. I barely remembered. I remember standing in the bed of it, and I was amazed that I could touch the roof. That's the only memory I have in that truck. So there is a little bit of that nostalgia here for sure. I do like the boxy design, and this is the final year for that boxy design. Now, the Sport did get some added appearance packages like color matching and this sweet little Sport graphic, so just to liven up the truck a little bit. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving the first-gen Dodge Dakota for, well, the first time? Well, I really, really have enjoyed this truck. I sound like a broken record, and I'm okay with that. It's a simple, honest work truck. It doesn't have four-wheel drive. It doesn't have pretty much any amenities at all. And it's for putting stuff in the back and taking it to another location. I know that sounds stupid to say out loud, but that is the truth. That's what this truck was for. It wasn't meant to thrill you. And they had options for that. If you wanted the V8 to show your neighbor what's up, you could do that. But this was simple and honest. That 4-cylinder is not meant to rev. That 4-cylinder is not meant to show off. It's not meant for big numbers. It was just a solid engine that they built. They used it in a lot of different things. That was their bread and butter, their basic necessity engine. So that's what this thing got. Nothing in here is superfluous. Nothing in here seems like a brag or a gotcha moment. It's very honest and straightforward, and I like trucks like that. I also think it's cool that this kind of designed and implemented the mid-range or mid-class, mid-tier truck, because this is definitely smaller than the Ram of the era, but it's also not really a mini truck. It's not as small as the Toyotas. It's not as small as the S10. It's not as small as the Ranger, at least at the time. Now, those products have grown, of course, but I like the sizing of it, and I just love the simplicity and honest feeling that you get. This truck has no ego, and that is a very nice thing to behold. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Devin for letting me borrow his Dodge Dakota on this tragic weather day today. Devin has been absolutely wonderful. This was somewhat of a last-minute setup ordeal, and Devin was able to accommodate my schedule, and I appreciate that very, very much. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.